I knew when we had kids that I wanted something different. I wasn't exactly sure at the time what that looked like. Hey mamas, what's buzzin'? It's me, Casey Sue. Welcome back to the Busy Mama Bee podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And this weekend, I asked you guys on Instagram what we should talk about this week. And it was a split vote between talking about pregnancy or talking about how I turned my side hustle into my main hustle. So today we are going to dive into how I started my side hustle and turned it into 10 Trails Media. As some of you may know, I love making videos and I love doing photography. So that's something that I always loved doing back in high school and college, making YouTube videos. After Johnny and I got married and I started working at the hospital as a nurse, saving up some money, I bought a really nice camera. I had the opportunity to film my cousin's wedding, doing their wedding video, which back in 2016 was something that I guess isn't as common as it is today. But yeah, so that kind of kick-started us kind of doing wedding films on the side. It was a really nice little side hustle, and it was all just word of mouth, us doing friends and family weddings, and then did a couple of random stranger people's weddings, but we never really created officially a business. We called ourselves JK Videos, and then we ended up changing our name because there came up another J&K Film Co. in our area who did weddings, and so we decided to change our names because that would be confusing, of course. So yeah, in those early days we did a lot of wedding films, and Johnny was really into the drone stuff, so we did a lot of drone stuff, which we don't really do anymore. And yeah, that was really the boot camp kickstarter to a lot of the filmmaking and video stuff that we did, a lot of videography, and sprinkle in a little bit of business stuff that we did, just by word of mouth. We did a video for Seltzer's Lebanon Bologna. Wow, when was that? That was probably back in 2017. That kind of allowed us to dip our toes into doing a business commercial style video. And basically, long story short, I really didn't want to do wedding films a whole heck of a lot. And I was starting to do some other video projects, like the Seltzers video, and we did some videos for a campground that was near us in Mount Gretna. I'm trying to think if there was anything else we did. We did do some, we did a video for a farm that's up near my parents' farm. That was really fun. And that was a lot of drone stuff at the time. But yeah, so we dabbled in a little bit of doing some fun videos for small businesses, and still doing a lot of wedding films during that 2017, 2018 time frame, and even 2019. Those years were definitely a lot of wedding films, because we could do them on the weekend because we were working full-time jobs during the week. And it was something fun to edit on my own time with the wedding films and everything. And then at the beginning of 2020, I attended a workshop with Scaling Creative, and that was out towards Allentown. So Scott McKenna, we found him through YouTube looking up videos about wedding films and how to film wedding films and stuff. So I had been following him for a while, and he has his own video company, video business, Scaling Creative, which is more focused on the business side of videos and making video content for businesses. So I attended his little workshop about how to have a video business. And that really kicked off my passion for okay, I think I want to do something official, change our name, and market towards doing business stuff. And yeah, so that's what I felt like doing at the time. That workshop was really informative, and it really like kickstarted 10 Trails Media. That was like January 2020, and I was still working full-time as a nurse. Yeah. I don't think I'll go too much into detail, but I left the heart team specifically. I used to work on the heart team in the operating room. So I left that team in December of 2019. There's a lot of call and a lot of hours worked on the heart team. So I had more free time. So that's why I was really diving into like learning more about what it is to have a video business. And I don't know if my laptop is going to be able to survive a whole podcast. I might have to go plug it in. Pause. Laptop is plugged in. It sounds like a jet taking off right now with the fans running. Okay, so where did I leave off at? So yeah, I had left my position on the heart team. I wanted some more free time. I wanted to transition out of being on call and working all the time. So I just transitioned to like general staffing within the OR. And the reason why I made that initial switch was because I wanted to see what I could do with more time with my video side hustle, but also I knew at the same time that someday when I want to have kids, I wanted a job that could either do PRN or part-time. And like, I knew if I wanted to go PRN at the hospital, I couldn't really do the heart team. So yeah, so I wanted to transition away from that, dive into other things there. And so with all that free time, not being on call, I had some time to learn more and devote more time into honing that skill. And then March 2020 hit, and we had a period of time in the operating room where surgeries were postponed and canceled. So I had even more time on my hands. There were a few days where I got to leave work early. And so I used that time to really dive into doing more video work. And I guess I skipped ahead a little bit, but back in 2019, I got connected with Enthusiast and with Jack, who is a local entrepreneur, YouTuber, and he was, at that time, he had just launched his giveaways with trucks. And so we got connected, and I started making ads for his giveaway company. And then eventually that would transform into doing all of his stuff pretty much full time, like doing his ads and editing his YouTube channel. So through that, I kind of went part-time at the hospital and dove into more and more video work. Yeah. And working with Jack was like a huge component of that. Was that huge push to like see what I could do with more time. Also around that time, I got connected with some other small businesses in the Mannheim area and creating video content for them. And so that was a really big push to dive deeper into going part-time at the hospital and then even eventually PRN at the hospital. And I really started to build up some clients and building up like more of a history with people and building up just a portfolio of like showing people what I could do, what I could make. And so it really like the transition from side hustle to main gig for me was a slow burn. It was a process throughout the course of a couple of years. And I think that's like really what worked best for me in the moment because I was unsure like if it could turn into something. So it really was like a lot of baby steps of like stepping down and scaling back from my nursing job to then scaling up more and more video work with clients and doing more. And all the video work that I was doing and all the stuff I was getting like connections I was making was all just word of mouth, which is huge. Like, yeah. And still to this day, a lot of the work I do is all pretty much word of mouth. Like, I have an Instagram for my business, and I really don't post much on Facebook at all. So a lot of the work that I get is just from my social media presence on Instagram and word of mouth. So it really honestly became like, I think, was it 2021? In 2021, I went PRN. Or is it 2022? At some point, I went PRN at the hospital, and I can't remember when that was. I don't know if that was it was probably before I got pregnant, but eventually I got pregnant in 2021. It was at the end of 2021. Yes. At the end of 2021, I got pregnant. It was probably not too long after I went PRN is when we got pregnant. Because I think I went PRN in August of 2021. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I went PRN and then in August of 2021. And then we got pregnant around November, Thanksgiving time. Yes. Wow. It is so hard to remember all these details. But anyways, yeah. So I really felt like I set myself up for having a job that I could work from home doing. A lot of the stuff that I do is like video editing based, and that I could do remotely or have a couple of take a couple hours where Johnny can watch Sweet Bee, and I can just go out and film for a little bit and come back. And it's been working out really, really, really nice. So I guess my main takeaway is that this video is definitely not like a how-to. This is definitely like a how I did it. I just kind of slowly stumbled into it over time. But if you're definitely interested in learning about how to start your own business, or learning about how to turn that side hustle into your main hustle and all that other kind of stuff, you should definitely check out How to Drink Champagne and Start Your Own Business from Jordan. She was our first guest on the podcast, so I highly recommend checking out her guide. I got it, I bought it and checked it out, and it's definitely like a really great A to Z guide on just a good general aspect of how to start your own business. Yeah, that's pretty much like did I explain this well at all? That's pretty much a very generalized synopsis of how I went from doing nursing stuff to doing video stuff. It was just a very slow process, and taking those baby steps. I didn't really want to dive into doing wedding films and doing wedding films all the time. We don't do wedding films anymore. That's something that they made the decision that we didn't want to be like a wedding film videographer company style thing. But there's really great money in that, and it's really, really a really nice business because you're capturing so many beautiful memories for the couple and for their families. And that's one aspect of wedding videography that I really, really, really loved, was capturing those memories. Because that's the one thing that I love home videos. I love family memories. And that's the one thing that I wish that we would have had for our wedding when we got married back in 2015, was a wedding videographer. And we had a camcorder, and it just isn't the best footage, but at least it's something. And so I always felt very passionate about that, and I loved it. I don't think it wasn't the right move for us to continue to do that, because I think for me, the video business was something for me. And Johnny is very, very supportive and is super, super helpful. But it's not his dream. It's not his thing. I have dragged him into so many different events and wedding films, and just doing all this other second shooter stuff that he's not really super, super passionate about. And so it's been really nice to take 10 Trails Media into something that I can solely go out and film stuff and edit stuff and not have to fully rely on a second shooter for things. Don't get me wrong. You can film a wedding with one shooter. It's possible. But I think it's not the same if you don't have two shooters. It's definitely possible, it's doable, but you definitely get a different quality when you have two shooters going at the same time. So yeah, I really, really enjoy making stuff, and I'm really happy that everything has worked out the way it has. It is bittersweet not doing nursing anymore, but when we had our sweet baby, it's something that I was like, maybe I'll keep up with staying PRN and stuff. But now that I'm back in the full swing of taking on clients and doing video work, and yeah, it's just a lot, which is good. And it's like just the right amount for me to handle right now. And it became less of a desire to put in the time and put in hours at the hospital. So I'm really glad made the decision, and I'm really glad that I'm creating something for myself here on this podcast. And like the biggest thing that I'm really proud of myself is that I know past Casey had the desire to eventually have a job where it was more family friendly and wasn't as many working hours at the hospital and like working on call and working weekends and nights and like crazy hours and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of options within the nursing career of like normal hours and everything. And someday I may go back to nursing full time. Who knows what the future holds? But I knew when we had kids that I wanted something different. I wasn't exactly sure at the time what that looked like, but now that I see what it looks like, it's really exciting. And I just wanted to give my creativity a chance to do something, a chance to become something. So I'm really, really proud of what it's become with 10 Trails Media, and I'm excited to continue to create. Yeah. And I'm just like really, really happy that I'm able to balance both being a mother and creating really awesome video stuff and doing some photos. I still do photos. If you would like some photos, let me know. Or videos, hit me up. But anyways, last week on the podcast, we talked about our birth story, and I think either in the next episode or the episode after that, we will dive into what pregnancy was like for us. And everyone's experience is different, but I would just love to chat a little bit about like what that experience was for us being pregnant for the first time. That'll be the topic for next week's episode. So mamas, please let me know if you have any questions specifically about pregnancy. We're going to dive into like first, second, third trimester and like just everything from A to Z about my experience and how that would differed from other people's experience probably. But yeah, let me know. But it's been fun chatting with you. I feel like I was kind of a little bit all over the place trying to like tackle my thoughts about how I went from my side hustle to my main hustle. But I hope it all sounded coherent. I'm really excited to continue this podcast and continue talking. And I hope you enjoyed this new look, this new environment. I've decided to change up some of my positioning and angles. That's the beauty of creating something for yourself and trying something new, is that you get to do it on your own terms and you get to experiment and have fun with it. And that's like the whole goal of this podcast is I want to connect with other moms and connect with I want to connect with other mamas like you and just have fun trying something new. And I'm really just happy and blessed that I had the opportunity to do this. So I am sweating. But I created my own like 10 Trails Media gear now, finally. And This is my editing sweater. I call this one my editing sweater because it's a crop top, and I thought it wasn't going to be as croppy toppy, but it is truly very crop toppy. It's a little bit shorter than I thought it was going to be when I ordered it, but I think it looks pretty good. It's super, super comfy though for like staying inside and editing and stuff, but I don't think I would wear this out on like a video shoot. Follow me on Instagram, follow 10 Trails Media on Instagram, Mama Bee Podcast on Instagram, and we will see you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Yes.